Welcome back. So today I want to talk about a super important concept for those of us playing the Colle system, and that is how we can go about studying the Greek gift sacrifice. Because one of the beautiful things about the Colle and why it is so powerful at club level is we will have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity for this Greek gift sacrifice. And so instead of making a video talking about the Greek gift sacrifice, what I suggest is to watch this video by GM Ben Finegold on his channel, and I'll put a link to it up above my head and down in the video description. So I would suggest watching that video first. It's like about 40 minutes long, but watch that and then come back to this video, because I'm going to show a method which I'm going to start doing, not just for the Greek gift, but for my chess in general. I'm going to be more faithful about doing it. But to start it off, I want to just look at a game I just recently played, and it was a 3-0 blitz. I'm going to try to get away from doing much 3-0 blitz because I want to be more intentional with my chess. But this is a 3-0 blitz, and what you will find when you play the Colle system is this Greek gift theme will come up so often, and it will even come up in situations where you don't even think about it, and that's what this was. And it kind of shows the value of reviewing your games afterwards, because reviewing it will point out these opportunities. And then if we can break it down into the key elements and learn those key elements, I think that's where we will really improve with the Colle system, and our chess will improve greatly. So let me go through this start of this game and get to the point that I want to examine today. So like I said, it was a 3-0 blitz game, and it's starting out, looks like just a regular Colle. Nothing to see here really. Now we get this c5 move, so in our repertoire we play c3, giving us a hiding spot here on c2 in addition to supporting the center. We go back, and now, as we've talked about before, we'll often see this thing where they try to throw their pawns at us. So this will be a super common thing we'll see at club level. And interestingly, let me actually turn the analysis on. We play e4. In the game, they just kind of continue on about their business, trying to throw their queenside pawns at us. And as we can see, we kind of got a feel for this already, that we just want to play e5, get the knight off of its defensive square where it protects h7, and good things happen. So that's what I did in the game. They played knight to d7. Now, interestingly, I won't talk about this here, but I kind of just transport pieces over to the king side, and that's a very good way to play it. It does look like in this position, actually, h4 is something I want to look at in the future as an alternative way, but that's kind of besides the point. So I'm just following all known things here. Have a great position, easier to play for us. And now here kind of comes the key moment. So my opponent, and I have 2 minutes 46 seconds. My opponent has 2 minutes 44 seconds. So we're playing this at about like a second a move. But in the game, he plays this thing. It's clearly a mistake, and I just grab that pawn. And so now I have an extra pawn on the queen side. Game lasts a long time. Let me actually zip forward to show you how it concluded, because it kind of logically flows from this. I did end up winning, but I had a better move, and that's what I want to examine, and that's what I want us to use as like a point to examine this Greek gift sacrifice. But the game ended in a position like this, where I think my opponent actually ran out of time maybe here. But as you can see, I do have a winning position with the extra pawn on the queen side. So we have 4 pawns versus 3. And if we go back to, let's see, it was move somewhere around here. Yeah. Naturally stemmed from this, right? And But there was a kind of a more spectacular and a more educational move that I could have played, and that's the value of reviewing these games. And so, if you want to pause the video and look for an even better move here, and if you've watched that Ben Finegold video, it will help to spot the opportunity, and especially as we get more practice in these positions. But the interesting thing is C takes B is just absolutely crushing, because let's say they do some random move. Well, we can play A3 and we have this pass pawn on the B file, right? So that's like a strategically won position. Now, what I want to examine for the purposes of this video and to show on how I'm going to approach studying these Greek gifts so that I build up expertise and, not expertise, but just proficiency, I guess, in playing these Greek gift sacrifices, is looking at it from here. Because interestingly, the Greek gift sacrifice works here, and it came about in an unusual way, right? Like grabbing the B pawn instead of grabbing the free A pawn. But it makes total sense once we learn the Greek gift position well. And so what I wanted to do was just examine the positions and then look at using creating flashcards of common motifs and common positions, tactical themes, mating patterns that come about in the Greek gift, so that if we kind of drill those with spaced repetition, using a flashcard system, which we're going to go into here in a minute, then hopefully we will see opportunities like this in a game eventually, and we'll be able to play them fairly quickly with a good intuition of when it works and how best to proceed. So, in this position, the Greek gift works. The idea being is, if, let's say, from the Finegold video, if they don't take it, we play knight to g5, and interestingly, the best move for them at this point is to just sacrifice their queen for this knight. Well, we don't need to probably study that because we'll win if that happens. But we probably should look at maybe other things that could happen. But I think, first of all, I want to look at what happens if they kind of do the better defense, like as suggested by Ben Finegold. If you watch that video, he suggests that they should try to run out to g6 to try to at least make us play more precisely. So, once again, this is the best move for black, but I'm not going to worry about that. Let's look at the most common way we'd probably see them play potentially would be to play king to g6, because I want to get into this flashcard system for us. And what's interesting here is you'll notice that it's actually a mate in 4, which, probably not at the stage yet where we're going to calculate mate in 4 quickly. But let's just see what happens in different lines so that we can kind of see these different themes. So let's say they play king to, so f5 is their strongest defense, right? But let's say they play king to h5 here. Well, then we kind of have this mating theme that we may be familiar with after watching that video, which is queen to h7, king to g4, and we get that king out in the open, and we have all the squares cut off. And so knowing this kind of theme where we check on h7, that's an important theme to know. And so maybe this would be the first one that I would put into a flashcard and have it in there as a mate in 2 pattern. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a system called Anki. And I got this idea from watching a video of FIDE master Jack Puccini. And he used this Anki system to create flashcards to study tactics with. And I'm thinking one thing I want to do going forward is not just for the Greek gift sacrifice, which I think this would be an excellent way to learn how to play the Greek gift sacrifice over time. But I also want to, after I play games, build out flashcards from positions, not only tactics I miss in games, but also thematic ideas in the openings that I play. And then this Anki has a spaced repetition. But I'll put a link above me to that video by Jack Puccini, and I'll put it down below. It's worth watching because he kind of shows how to use the Anki system. And but what I want to do now is pull up Anki and just build a few flashcards from that, that come out of this potential Greek gift idea. One obvious thing would be to put a flashcard in when we did C takes B, and before that, and saying what is a good move here. And then what's cool about Anki is you'll see we can put pictures in there, screenshots of the board, and then explanations. So I'm going to switch over to pulling up Anki, and we'll start building out some flashcards. All right, so I have Anki pulled up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new deck, and I'm going to call that deck Greek Gift Themes. And create that new deck. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on that deck. Actually, we don't need to do that. I'm going to hit Add, which will add a card to our Greek Gift Themes deck. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot of the board in the position that we want to put in to do a quiz on. And so I'm going to switch over here to our analysis board. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do on the Mac, it's like Shift Command 5, I believe. Yes, Shift Command 5. On a PC, there's a different way that you can do a snippet. And what I do is I have it set up not to save it as a file, but to save it as to the clipboard. So I'm going to save it to the clipboard, capture a picture of it, and then I'm going to go back over into Anki now that I have a picture of this position. So let me get back into that. Get back into Anki. Oh, let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have to create a new thing in OBS to try to see this screen here. So 1 second here. All right, so I have it up to add a card to our Greek Gift Themes deck. And you can watch YouTube videos on Anki. But, we took a screenshot, we saved it as a file to the clipboard. So then I was able to just cut and paste this picture into the clipboard. And what you can do is you can type a question underneath there, like white to mate in 2. And then you can have a backside to it where that'll be like the answer. And depending what level you're at, you can add like additional screenshots to it. Like if you want to say, okay, let me have a couple screenshots in there so I can visually track it every couple of moves. What I like to do is kind of have the answer where I will type in, like in this case, I'll type in 1 queen h7. Like king g4, and then queen h3 mate. And then what I like to do is I will put a screenshot of that final image so I can see that it matches the image in my mind as a way to practice visualization while I do it. So let me go out and grab a screenshot real quick, and we'll put this in here, and then I'll show you how that works. All right, so we go back out here. We have our mate in 2, queen h7, king g4, queen h3 is mate. And what I like to do then is take a screenshot of this image, save it to the clipboard, so I capture it. Then I will go back into Anki, and we will paste it in here, right here. So then you can see the final image, and that way we can visualize this. I'll change this, fix that up. So now it will look good when we go to do it. So I'm going to add this. Okay, and now that card will be added to the deck. So let me switch my screen here, and we'll go back in and see what it looks like when we go in to drill it. All right, so now we can see when we're in our deck of Greek gift themes, we can actually go in and study that card. And there's different settings a person can use for space repetition in Anki. And so that's my idea, is to create a whole bunch of these cards coming from the Greek gift sacrifice, and then studying with space repetition and get really, really proficient at the Greek gift. So if we hit study now, we can see it looks nice. So it says white to mate in 2. And so what you do is, okay, like calculate this out. So queen to h7 check. The only square the king can go to is g4, and then we play queen to g3 mate. And then what I like to do is, like an added kind of thing, is really get a good picture of it mentally in my head, and then click on show answer, and we can see, okay, queen h7, king g4, queen h3 mate. And that way you can work on your visualization as in addition to visualizing it. And the thing to note is you can put multiple pictures here in the answer. I'm not necessarily going to do it now, just in the interest of not making the video last forever. But based on what you need to work on in your current skill level, you could have a picture, after the queen to h7. You could break it up. So you can decide how to tailor it to yourself. That's the beauty of it, as opposed to like a tactics course or something. So, yeah, let's jump back out and just kind of look at that game to look at different positions that we would possibly put in here as flashcards. And like I said, you can just Google, setting up Anki flashcards, and then learn different settings for the spaced repetition, because in here you rate whether you can do it again right away. You can and then it asks you if you thought it was easy, hard, or you were pretty good at it. So I thought it was pretty easy, and then it won't ask me to do it again until 4 days. Now you can imagine, as we build this out, we'll create a nice little set of opportunities, Greek gift positions and opportunities from our game, so it'll have meaning to us. We'll study it actively. We're engaged, and I think that will really help us learn. So let me jump out into the other board here. All right, so let's look at some other possible cards we can put in here. Well, one would be, okay, we go down the line here where instead of running out to g6, or doing the best move, which is be queen takes knight, they actually run back to g8 with the king. So we play queen to h5. And now the thing to note, and this will come up in a lot of our games, is if they play rook to e8, we actually have a mate in 5 here. And that may seem at first, I may think, oh man, like mate in 5, that's a lot. But it's actually not that hard once we get experience and see this position a number of times. And that's where I think these flashcards come in, is we could have a flashcard here where we take a screenshot of the board and say, okay, mate in 5. And then we could decide, you can decide how many intermediate images you want in the answer card. But the mate goes like this, right? King there. And mate here. So, interestingly, that e5 wedge keeps that king from running. And so we could take a snapshot maybe like this. You could have arrows or not have the arrows, but that would be the answer. And then, of course, you would type the moves in like we did on the other one. And as you play games and do the reviews, you can go down the suggested computer line and look at the opportunities and throw these into the flashcards, build up a nice deck of cards, decide, go in and do it, drill them using the spaced repetition. You'll work on your visualization. You'll work on patterns that you will see over and over and over again in the Colle system. It's kind of like it's a double or triple dipper, the value that you get out of it. Of course, like I think we would want to go back to the beginning. We would definitely want to put this position here and there, and actually right here, and say, okay, white to move. And then maybe the back of the flashcard is here, and then maybe you stop it here and you say, Greek gift on h7 meets all the requisites. That bishop that was protecting g5 was diverted. And you can even put verbal explanations to kind of explain to yourself, well, what created this opportunity? And what created this opportunity was the diversion of this dark squared bishop from protecting g5. So however you would best describe that to yourself, you can put it in. And then eventually, maybe we will see this. Because it was a blitz game. I played this move instantly, basically. I'm like, yes, free pawn. Good enough. It worked. That we won. I won with it. But man, wouldn't it be a lot easier to just play this? If they don't take it, we play a3, and this is just crushing. And if they do take it, we got the Greek gift. Then of course you could go through and look at different mating sequences, different ways of playing the Greek gift. Add a couple after each game, and eventually you get a nice little set. So that's how I'm going to approach learning the Greek gift. I want to do it more actively than passively, because I feel like I'll remember it better. Like I think like now that mate in 5, where we take queen here and come back and da 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 kind of thing. I think a couple times drilling that, I'll know that pattern and be able to just blitz it off really fast in a blitz game if I want. We learn this pattern where we check here and then get another check here, and I mean, so it'll all flow over time. So anyway, hope you consider doing that. I think it will help us Colle players a ton, and we'll win so many easy games in this Colle. It's ridiculous. So have a good one.